with an opening statement, and then we'll get to your questions. Please use the raise your hand function for questions. Go ahead, Coach.
All right. So, look, we're excited to be back in football. We've been excited to be, working with our players for the last, I guess, like 3.5 weeks in the off-season program. I think we've had a really good off-season. We got some good lifting in. They got some good rest, after the season and after the game. We've got 15, mid-year guys here who are making really good progress. So that's very helpful. Um, I think the extra time that we had this year, where we got 10 hours instead of 8, and we could do a little more walkthrough kind of stuff, was really beneficial to the new players, really beneficial to the new coaching staff, because it gave us a lot more time to sort of see them and see the organization of what we do. So I was pleased with the effort in practice today. I was pleased with, where we are first practice. The effort was good. Attitude was good. Execution, not what it needs to be. All right, but that's why we have practice. That's why we need to practice. And, I kind of challenge the individuals on the team and say, are you going to be individually accountable, all right, to do all the things that you need to do to be able to do your job? All right, or are you going to need somebody else to kind of show you the way? And I think that's important, that people be responsible for their own self-determination, especially young players who are trying to learn, that they can take things from the meeting to the walkthrough to the field, so that they can progress and improve. I think that's really, really important. I think self-assessment for those kind of guys is really important too. Having respect for the critical eye when they are corrected, and the coaches tell them something, that they learn from it and learn from their mistakes and grow. So, we're excited to be back. We're excited to be in spring practice. We couldn't go outside today. The fields were too bad. I was hoping we could, and I'm hoping we'll have better weather next week. I'd like to wish the men's and women's basketball teams both really good luck in the tournament. We're really excited for both teams. We're really proud of what both teams were able to accomplish. I'd like to congratulate our men's team on winning the season SEC championship as well as the SEC tournament. Um, I have a tremendous amount of respect for competitors, and those last two games those guys played in the SEC was a lot of toughness, a lot of mental toughness, and really, really proud of the way they competed in the game. So that was fun to see. I was really excited for my man Justin Thomas to win the Players. I think it was a great win for him, and see him to get back to being himself is, really, really special. So, um, we got some guys that are injured that, we don't really need to be asking about every day. Malachi Moore, Phil Mathis, John Mechie, Pierce Quick, and Emo Ekafor, they're not really expected to participate a whole lot in spring practice from previous injuries that they had, things that needed to be fixed, probably from the season. In some cases, the guys couldn't finish the season. So we want to focus on getting these guys well. A lot of these guys have played a lot of good football around here, and they really don't have anything to prove here in the spring. So, better for us if we can give more reps to somebody else and let them develop. Trey Sanders is actually doing some work. He does some individual work. He's making really good progress. He can dry land run now. He's not 100%, but he's getting there. And we're very happy with the progress. He's had a tough road to hoe, and he's had a great attitude about it, and he's worked hard, and we're really, pleased. The new coaches are, doing, I think, really well. I think it's been a transition a little bit, and we spent a lot of time working together on offense to, implement some new ideas, as well as for the new coaches to learn the system, that we had here before, and try to improve on it. So I'm really pleased about that. Defensively, we only have one guy, and Jay's done a great job. He's really smart, and he's learned quickly, and he's added some things, for us, which has made us better. So, we're really happy about that.
Okay, we'll get things started with Charlie Potter. Charlie, go ahead.
Hey, coach, just want to ask you about Bryce Young and just how much or where did you see him make the most progress last season?
Well, I think that it was, I've said this before, we wanted to play Bryce more last year, probably didn't play him as much as we wanted or would have liked to, a little bit because we were playing 10 SEC games and we didn't have any other games that, we could sort of work him into more. But I thought he did a good job. I thought, at times he was feeling his way out there, not playing with the kind of confidence that we would like for him to play with, but it's part of his development and he learned from it. And he's been much better in practice, like today. And this was the first day we could actually throw. And I thought he did a good job of throwing. The players been throwing on their own, some, which we don't get to see. But, he did a pretty good job today. And he looked a lot more comfortable, sort of managing and executing the offense and playing fast. So I think that was really encouraging.
We'll go to Mike Rodak with AL.com.
Just not having worked with Bill OBrien before, what's been your impression of him up close, and what have you been able to learn from him just given his experience?
Well, I think Bill's a really, really good coach. He's coached with some really good coaches. He's had some really, really good success at what he's accomplished and what he's done. I think it's really difficult when you have somebody come in and try to learn our system, which he has done a really good job of, to try to implement that system and then tweak it where we can fix it and make it better based on the quality control that we did last year. But the big thing I've tried to emphasize with the new coaches, it's kind of human nature to want to come in and make an impact and do something that's great. We just need you to do a good job of coaching our players, getting them to play the best that they can play, getting the players to understand our system and what we do in a really positive way. And, there's no expectations. We shouldn't be making comparisons to what we did last year on offense and how we're going to be next year on offense. I think the focus needs to be on how do we get the players that we have to be the best offensive team that we can be. And we all work together to try to do that. And so far, that's worked out really well.
We'll go to Aaron Suttles with The Athletic.
When you examine the defense from last year and you did some quality control work, what are areas that you want to see improve so the defense can be more like Alabama defenses of old that you've had in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody complains about the defense, but we were like first in the SEC in points allowed, and we were 13th in the country in points allowed. So I think, what people visualize as good defense is a little bit different now than it used to be. But I think the single thing that we have to improve on, which was the worst that it's been since we've been here, is third down. Getting off the field on third down was an issue for us a year ago. And whether it's a combination of how we pressure, how we cover, whatever. And some of that, starts with even when it was second and long, we did a really poor job of making it third and long. So it would become third and very manageable for the offense. So this whole idea of getting off the field and not giving the other team more opportunities, to have chances to be able to make plays, I think that's the single most obvious thing that we need to improve on. Now, there's other things. Could we have played the run a little bit better? Yeah. Did we give up too many big plays? Probably early in the season and in some games. But if you make a comparison to years past, especially the last couple of years, and I'm not taking up for the guys because we need to get a lot better on defense, is, people are not giving up 8 points a game anymore. And, I've talked a lot about, how the people take advantage of the rules that we have in college football and how they favor the offense and how it's very difficult, to play really good defense now. So we keep tweaking, we keep working. I think we have a little more experience, coming back on defense, which will probably help us. I see a lot more players out there that, last year at this time we had like 7 or 8 new guys and 4 out of 5 in the secondary. And now we only lost 1 guy in the back end and 1 linebacker and 1 down guy. So we had a lot of guys that had a lot of playing time. So they should be a lot more confident. And, between third down and mental errors that created big plays, I think those are the 2 things that we're really focused on.
Okay, we got time for a couple more. We'll start with Tony Sakalas.
Hey, Nick, I was going to ask about the Mike linebacker position. Do you see Christian Harris kind of making that shift like Dylan Moses did, or is he more set at the will linebacker spot?
Well, we'll do both. I mean, he'll play some Mike and some Will. He'll play some Mike and some money and nickel. Moody can play both. Shane Lee played a whole year here of Mike. He's healthy now. He was not healthy last year, coming off of that sports hernia thing. He struggled all year long. So he's done a lot better. So we're going to go through the whole spring. I mean, we do things differently in the spring. I know you guys want answers to all the questions. We play right and left safety. We play right and left outside backer. We play right and left inside backer. So they got to be Mike. They got to be Will. I mean, so we're trying to create diversity in players, not trying to give you an answer so you can write about who the starter is everywhere. And then we'll figure out, at the end of the spring and next fall when we go into fall camp, okay, this is the best way for us to play. But if we don't experiment and move all these guys around, but then the other good thing about that is next year you can get the next best guy in the game because he could play Mike or Will. All right, so it's a really good question, but it's not one that's going to have an answer for a long time.
And we'll finish up with Chris Vanini with The Athletic.
Nick, the NCAA announced last week they're looking at possibly penalizing coaches or players or teams if they perceive to be faking an injury during a game to stop a play. Have you gone through that as a coach, and do you have any thoughts on how teams do that?
Well, we've never asked our players to go down in the game to stop the clock. Never ever done it. Never had a player do it. So I don't think it's good for the game. I don't have a solution to the issue. I don't have a solution to the problem. And, people do it because the offense goes so fast. So I had no problem with the offense going fast. So, we don't think it's important to control the pace of the game and how many players a player has to play, at a fast pace. And, we talk a lot about player safety and a lot of issues. We don't think that's an issue. So I don't have a solution for, what we should do to remedy that, but I don't think it's good for the game.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.